Hello, hello, it's Suzanne from Absolute Confidence with your Absolute Confidence tip of the day. Yeah. The tip of the day is, actually there's 6 tips, to become self-aware. So you want to make sure you watch this video all the way to the end so you get all 6 tips. Today I'm coming to you from the magical garden just outside of downtown Vancouver, which is the Cottonwood Community Garden. It's this beautiful hidden little gem that my awesome biking friends showed me on one of our rides. And it's a great place to come and connect to your authentic self and do some thinking and do some meditation and just hang out and enjoy nature. I just love it here. And it's also a really good place to hang out with your dear, dear friends. What have you got on your nose, you little wiener? Anyways, in today's video, I want to talk to you about the very, very important topic, the number one way to build confidence, which is self-awareness. Now, a lot of people are really not too sure about what self-awareness really is and what it's all about. And that's why I thought it was really important to make this video. Self-awareness, well, what is it? It's really having complete knowledge about who you really are. That means understanding the good, the awesome, the not so awesome, really understanding all aspects of yourself. It is the first of the 10 components of confidence, which is the ebook that I wrote. And in that ebook, I go into great detail about what self-awareness is really all about and how to build your level of self-awareness. It is absolutely important that you really understand all 10 different elements that involve self-awareness. So that is everything from understanding the first one, which is core values. You can tell you're in the city when there's a semi truck right beside the park. Anyways, core values, good news for those of you that are like me and do not like math. Core values has nothing to do with math, but it is the very, very first part of self-awareness out of the 10 different elements that I work with my clients on, because it's absolutely important that you understand what you are, what you value, because your core values essentially determine what it is that you do, why you do it, what excites you, what motivates you, what gets you out of bed in the morning. So it's really important to understand that one part of just self-awareness so that you can start to build that foundation of trust for yourself, which is really what confidence is all about. It is about getting to a place where you fully and completely trust yourself. Another few elements of self-awareness that I want to talk about just briefly today are strengths, skills, talents, and gifts. Now, these 4 are also absolutely essential in order to build self-awareness. And one of the biggest, I guess, secrets you could call them, call it, for confident people is the fact that one of the biggest differences between confident people and insecure people is that confident people know that we all have strengths and we all have weaknesses. However, confident people do not focus on what their weaknesses are. Instead, we focus on our skills, our talents, our gifts, instead of focusing on our weaknesses and our faults and our limitations. So it's really, really important to do the work and figure out, okay, what are your strengths? So I have worksheets on top 40 strengths, top 40 weaknesses. It's really important to do that work to figure out what that is for you so that you can start to build that foundation of trust for yourself. And also understanding the difference between skills, talents, and gifts is really, really imperative. We are all born with innate gifts that you came into this world with that are actually meant for you to utilize what it is your purpose is here. So I believe that our purpose and our passions are definitely linked to what our innate gifts are. And when we are not tapped into our innate gifts and not utilizing and living our innate gifts, we really feel unfulfilled and unhappy. So really, really important piece of self-awareness is to determine not only your core values, not only your strengths, but also determine what are your gifts, because guess what? You have several of them. And when you start to live your life coming from a place of your gifts and your purpose, everything shifts for you. It's so amazing. It's so incredible. You wake up in the morning feeling happy and feeling on purpose and feeling content and excited about your day. So if that's not currently happening for you, you might want to check in with yourself and ask yourself, hey, do I really know who I really, really am? And likely for most people, the answer is, you know what? I don't, because we're not taught this stuff. Nobody taught us the importance of determining who we really are, who is our authentic selves. So if you're interested in doing that, I can help you with that. Being your authentic self is really a fantastic way to live your life. When you are authentic, you are really truly who you were when you came into this world, without all the fears, without all the judgments, without all the barriers, and without all the personas. A lot of women are in the bad habit of wearing personas. That is pretending to be somebody that you're not in order to fit in or in order to be liked. That stems from the people-pleasing behavior, which I think most of us have or are in recovery from having. Every single client that I've ever worked with over the past 10 years definitely falls into the category of being a people pleaser, which is not being our authentic selves. I'm going to do a whole probably big long video on that topic because it is so incredibly important. So becoming fully self-aware does require you doing some work. It doesn't come easy, but of course everything that's worth having does not come easy. But the work is definitely worth the reward. It does require you also being really, really honest with yourself about yourself. And with my clients, it's really amazing to them because, you know, nobody knows what they don't know, but there's lots to know when it comes to self-awareness. So I've actually developed over, I think, 24, almost 30 different worksheets, all on the different areas that have to do with self-awareness. So it is absolutely essential that we all learn this valuable information about ourselves, because when you don't know who you are, you can't trust yourself. And trusting yourself, as I said before, is really what absolute confidence is all about. So here's something for you to consider when you think of trust. Let's just say you're walking down the street one day and some random stranger runs up to you and says, "Hey, I just lost my job and I got kicked out of my apartment. I have nowhere to go. Can I grab the keys to your place and go crash there for a month?" What would you say to that stranger? I'm pretty sure that if you really think about it and you're not being a people pleaser, you would say, hell no, or something along those lines. And why is that? Well, of course, the reason is because you do not know them and you do not trust them. So the same sort of principles apply to us, right? When we do not trust ourselves and we do not know ourselves, it's impossible to build confidence. If you don't know who you are, you can never trust yourself. So I want you to remember that. You never want to be a stranger to yourself. Don't be a stranger. You're the only person that you're going to know for your whole entire life. So don't be a stranger to yourself. Here are my 6 tips for building self-awareness. Tip number 1, you guessed it, go out in nature. Nature is so amazing and so magical and so powerful. Go somewhere that you feel calm and still and connected to the universe. It's a really, really great place for you to reflect and to do this work on who you really, really are. Tip number 2 is be very, very aware of your self-talk. So that is the negative commentary that goes on in our minds, which happens for all of us. It's being very, very aware of how often your inner critic acts up and learning the skills and the tools to be able to manage the negative self-talk. The way that we talk to ourselves about ourselves greatly impacts our self-confidence. Tip number 3, make expressing your authentic feelings part of your everyday life. So start to get into the habit of actually identifying what you're feeling. Express the emotion that you're going through if you're feeling triggered by something, or if you're not feeling triggered. Be able to identify and name the emotion that you're feeling when you're feeling it. Tip number 4, make spending time by yourself every single day, even if it's just for 5 minutes, make it a very important part of your day. This is really, really essential in building self-awareness, is to get to a place where you really are comfortable and, more importantly, looking forward to being by yourself and being with your thoughts. The more that you can do this, the more you will practice being in the present moment, and the more you will start to know who you really, really are. Tip number 5, take some time to learn what your interests are. Take some time to really figure out what might be a new hobby or a new passion of yours. So maybe do some research, go online. Maybe it's something that you saw somebody else do. Maybe one of your friends has this fun hobby that you're interested in. Really do spend the time to figure out what could be something that you're interested in. Also, meetup.com is a great place to search out potential groups and friends, new friends. So go to meetup.com. Anything that you're interested in, there is a group for that. You like green tea? There's a group for that. You have a wiener dog? There's a group for that. So definitely spend the time to figure out what your interests and your hobbies are. And tip number 6 is to start journaling. Now, not everybody loves to journal. Not everybody loves to write. I get it. I happen to be one of those people. However, a lot of people do get a lot from the act of journaling. So it doesn't have to be a big, huge, like novel entry every day, every single day. For myself personally, I do it digitally. Pen to paper is ideal. I just prefer not to, so I do what works for me, which is what I suggest for you. And just writing down at the end of your day just a few thoughts, anything that was upsetting for you, and then also talking about what were some wins for the day, as well as things that you're grateful for. So journaling is a really, really, really fantastic way for you to get in touch with your authentic self and start to build that awareness about what you go throughout the day, and it's also really cool to look back and read what you wrote, let's say a year ago. So journaling, absolutely essential. A really, really great way to get to know who you really are. So hopefully you learned a little bit more about what self-awareness is and why it's so incredibly important to build confidence. If you haven't already, I strongly encourage you to go and check out my website, absoluteconfidence.com. And on there, you can check out my 60 free tips. And there's actually 7 different sections around confidence-related struggles that my clients are faced with. And the very first one that I write about is all about self-awareness. So go ahead and grab your copy of that, go to my website. And as I've said it before, and I'll say it again, always, always, always remember that nothing, and I mean nothing, is more important and more powerful than absolute confidence. So go out there and live life confidently.